Welcome to the Other Side Pod. I'm Nadine. We're not experts, we're just humans having a human experience we think you can learn from, or relate to, or laugh at, or cry over. So hit download, dive in, and hear how folks found themselves on the other side. We're recording with Hillory. Hillory, what is your favorite thing about living in Ottawa?
Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, I recently met someone who had just moved to Ottawa, and they were telling me about how they live in the Glebe, and they were like, "Oh, I'm just like not sure about my surroundings." I was like, "No, Ottawa summer in the Glebe along the canal is my favorite thing. It is my favorite thing. I find it so beautiful, and I just find there's a moment, and I saw it this weekend, where everyone's outside and it's the most lively and it's exciting and it's fun. And you just see like neighbors helping each other out. And like it was also like that time where like the lilacs are out. And so you just get these giant whiffs of it while I'm walking my dog. I would say that's it. And also the fact that despite misconceptions, like Ottawa's actually a fun place to be. And there's just a lot of, I don't know, I feel like people who love Ottawa really love Ottawa and like we go hard for it. And so there's
Yeah,
that pride that I really appreciate. Yeah.
love
I'd say
that.
that's my favorite thing. And everything's like in walking distance to one another if you're in downtown, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the weather, oh my God. Yesterday in Newfoundland, as everyone knows, I'm from Newfoundland because I talk about it nonstop. It snowed June 1st. It snowed,
Love it.
right? I'm like,
Love
oh
it.
gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway, but there's no place like home, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
We are here to talk about divorce. But when we were chatting about this a few months ago, actually, and you said conscious uncoupling, and I obviously went to Gwyneth Paltrow, but I do think there's something to it for you, and I need you to, I don't need you to, I suppose. I would love for you to tell me more about that.
Yeah.
The difference.
So I think it's really important contextually to situate this conversation because I find it's not for everyone. And I also fully understand that when you're going through like a separation or divorce or whatever it is, there are times when like, no, like the relationship must end, right? In my case, no one did anything wrong, right? Like that was just really it. I feel, and I'll probably get emotional throughout this because I really like to honor those emotions when they happen, but no one did anything wrong. There was still such like an abundance of love and care for each other and each other's families. And we just kind of, see, now I'm getting all emotional thinking about it. There was just a point where we just realized that there was more that we wanted for ourselves, and it might not necessarily have been the right fit. And like we gave it our all. Like we did all, like we did the therapy, we did the courses, we did the things, right? And we never really fought. We just really started diverting into different directions. And so I come from a long line of relationships are just so fundamental to like your core of like who you are and stuff. And we just don't really, and I'm trying to say this without making it sound too crass, but we don't really just like throw people away. We really do try to keep, when I say we, I mean like our family. And I think a lot of it is rooted in my parents' own love story as well, which is like really sweet. And like they're still together and they really just like against all odds, they, decided like we're just gonna pick up and go across the country and live together and love each other and have two children and then come to Ottawa and then continue to have these children. But with all due respect to like my grandparents, like there was always this contention, I think, between one, my grandmother's experience on my mom's side of going to like, being part of the residential school system. And then on my dad's side, I just think like small town mentality, an indigenous woman, non-indigenous person, all this stuff. So like contextually very interesting. So they really wanted to create their own family. And I feel like they really instilled on us. Like I just remember as a kid, like we were all really close and stuff. And so growing up with that and having that as an example and just understanding sort of a more decolonial approach to relationships, it was really important. Like it was without a question that Mike would stay in my life. Like that was just it. Like without a doubt, this human being is going to be permanently in my life. It just might not be in this particular model right now.
Mm.
And that like love can look like in a different form that doesn't have to be so husband and wife or wife and wife and husband and like it can be a myriad of different things, and it just shows that there's an abundance of that we can give to each other and to like others around us and our community and so forth. So that's where that came from. I also know that like yes, I'm a bit more facetious with it when it's like the Gwyneth Paltrow conscious uncoupling, but it was true. Like it was so important for us to go to couples counseling and to figure out how to end this particular part of the relationship while still maintaining a friendship throughout it.
Yeah. Wait,
Like,
before we go further, I have so many questions. Introduce yourself.
oh yeah, okay. So Anin Bojo, Afti Baba Nigigikwe, Gimib So Shinodankwe, Hillory Indigenicas, Nayashing Amin and Dojaba, Ottawa Dodum, Nigig Dodum. So my name is Hillory. I'm originally from the Chippewas and Nawash First Nation, part of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation territory, located in like Georgian Bay, Bruce Peninsula, Nayashingaming. And I am here in Ottawa on Algonquin unceded territory, and I am Otter Clan, and yeah, that's me. I'm Hillary. I'm a dog mom. I've got my dog Annie that I co-parent with, and I would say I'm an entrepreneur and a huge Ottawa advocate, and um, yeah, I'm a beater. Like I'm an auntie. That's like my favorite role in the world, and that's yeah. I think that's. I mean, there's many layers to me. I'm an onion.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Let's peel it.
yeah. Let's peel this onion.
Okay. You already spoke about this a little bit with your mom and dad as a point of reference for you as a little kid, like
Mhm.
watching them have a nice relationship. And obviously, every relationship has their stuff, but
Yeah.
this deep love for each other. So, when you were a little kid, were you one of those little kids that were like dreaming of getting married and using the curtain as a veil over your head? Or were you just kind of like, whatever happens, happens?
I was not that kid that like had the veil on their head. And I think like, I also had a grandma who is now since passed. I love telling the story. If I know I'm never going to answer your question full on, and this is just
I love
such a like
this.
this is such a Anishinaabe way of doing things. I was like,
This is like part one of five.
we're gonna go around, but I will get there.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a
So
Newfoundlander. That's a commonality
right,
right
yeah,
there about
yeah,
how we tell a story.
yeah.
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 Hmm.
So I would say one of my biggest influences on who I am is from my grandmother, Margie. And
Your mom's mom?
my dad's mom.
Your
And
dad's mom. Okay.
so she was just like, she loved the finer things in life. Um,
Margie,
Margie,
ditto.
no, like Margie was a bit bougie. She just wanted a different life for herself and like the beat of her own drum kind of thing. And I remember early on being young and sitting in her like really nice condo and her saying to me like, Hillary, never be the stewardess, be the pilot. Never be the secretary, be the CEO. And I was like, okay, whatever, Margie. And the reason why, I just like, okay. But like that stuck with me and really about like who I wanted to be. Don't get me wrong, Margie had her own stuff going on. So
Don't we all?
yeah. And like the reason I call her Margie, not Grandma Marge, this is my favorite story to tell about her. So she lived with us for a period of time. And I remember she walked me to the end of the street to go catch the school bus. And I had to introduce her as, this is my father's mother. This is Marjorie. And so like never like this is my grandma. And so
I love her
yeah,
so
right?
much.
Like she was the best. And so this is my
This
father's
is my
mother. This is
father's
Marjorie.
mother.
Yeah. She was the best. And so over time, there's also like a little sense of like a bit of that coldness too that I think comes from that, like having to protect herself. But she, this cuts deep. She refused to come to my wedding because and it never hurt me. Like it just didn't because I understood her. Like I was like,
Hmm.
no, she's not gonna come to that. Like she could have
Why?
come. She just didn't want to go. Like I think a lot of it, she came to my bridal shower and that was really sweet. But I think she just never really wanted me to get married. Like she just didn't, she wanted so much more for me, but without at the same time acknowledging like I was moving up in my career and stuff. And so that really stuck with me for a really long time, just that sort of this getting married. And I look back at it now and I've had these conversations with Mike where it's like, I don't know if I fully wanted to get married. And I think it was just like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right. And so I did it and I loved it. It was aesthetically beautiful. I got to plan a party. I looked incredible. Like I designed everything from head to toe. And it was just like I loved it, and we had a great time. It was a fantastic party. It was the best.
Said, how old were you? Sorry to cut you
Oh,
off.
31,
Yeah.
32.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And like my older brother had just gotten married a few years prior and I was like, "Oh, okay. This is what I have to do now, right?" And
Hmm.
so um but don't like I have no regrets on that
No, no,
whatsoever.
no, but I get it. Like I can
Yeah.
relate actually. I also got married at 31
Oh,
just for a
okay.
year though.
Yeah.
How long were you dating beforehand?
Like 2 years, like 2, 3 years. And I
Mm.
always look back on it like it really was me pushing it. Right? Like,
Hmm.
let's move in. Like, let's buy a house together. Let's get engaged. Let's get married.
So you were the CEO.
I was the CEO. Exactly. Oh my God. Do you know how many times I've referenced that in our relationship? Like all the time. So my Margie passed away before Mike and
Mm.
I separated and stuff. And so I do wonder what she would say, but my dad said something to me this past February, and he has said a lot of like beautiful things to me over the years, but he just said, he's like, Grandma Marge would have been like super proud of you.
Yeah. When you
Yeah.
said, I wonder what she would have said, I'm like, just sit still for a hot second. I bet you can hear it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you saw her.
Yeah. And I love that we're bringing her up because it just reminds me of something is when I came to that realization that we were heading towards a departure in our relationship, Mike and I, that I remember saying out loud, like, oh, I'm in my Margie era. And like that was it. And I got this like fabulous apartment. And I put fabulous things in it. I have a cloffice. It's like the second bedroom is like just a closet where I like have my little desk. And it's just like it's nice things. And when I went to Europe, it was like I'm going to spend money on nice things that I'm going to keep forever that remind me of her, but also remind me, of who I am and where I've come from and stuff. And
Well,
you
this
know,
was the trip you took to treat yourself after going through the
yeah,
brutal, brutal process.
yeah.
Even when you're consciously doing it with love for each
It's so
other, it's
hard.
so hard
So hard.
to get separated.
Yeah.
You treated yourself to a trip to Europe
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And I loved it. I loved every moment of it. Um,
by
I
yourself.
I did, yeah, by myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
But I travel a lot by myself for work, but I had never done anything like this where I was like, I didn't sign up for tours or anything like that. I was like, no, like I'm literally like, what are my favorite things to do? It's to shop. It's to look at nice things. It's and I just would just walk the streets of Paris and like, I think I was saying at the beginning of this, like I came home with like two giant hockey bags, just like full of like clothes from vintage stores, like pieces, like things. But it was also around Christmas time. So there was also a lot of presents in there for people. So like I just need to put that as a caveat. It wasn't all on me. But that's also part of my love language is like being able to buy people things and stuff. And
Sames. Sames.
yeah.
Wait, that was in before I hit record. So telling
Oh,
people that you went to Europe, because this
yeah.
is such a nice story. Tell me, set the scene for me, and we'll go back
Yeah.
because I do want to hear about the moment when you realize like this is ending.
Yeah.
But was this like, are you legally divorced? Is this like when you signed a separation
No.
agreement? Okay.
So we're not legally divorced. Um, but I don't know if that's ever like a necessary thing.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just like where I am in my life and like where he is. And I'm just sort of like, I
Yeah,
don't
you don't need
know.
to.
Yeah. Like I just don't
Yeah.
know. And I also don't, it's just not a focal point. And I feel like we are so aligned in where we've ended, like in terms of that it's just like, oh, we don't need, because I find those structures to be very colonial as well.
Yeah,
I
having
feel
to
like,
ask the government for permission to leave
yeah,
my husband was awful. That's why I
totally.
didn't like David and I were like, we don't need to get married. We can be like
Yeah,
married without us like
yeah,
signing a piece of paper, government, whatever. So I get it. It was
yeah,
brutal.
yeah.
Hmm.
So setting the scene, we bought a house in Vanier, and I always rep
You,
Vanier really hard. And again, and I like, that was a lot of like my pushing, because now we need a house, because then we're gonna get
but you
engaged,
too.
and then we're gonna get married, and then the pandemic happened. Um,
You got
and
married right before the pandemic?
what's that?
You got married right before the pandemic?
2019. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Like right before. So, yeah, we got married August of 2019, and then right into a pandemic, which was interesting because I travel so much for work. And so I was like, oh, this will be really interesting to see how this works out. And actually it was great. I was like, oh,
Good.
we're a quarantine. Like it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time. So which is interesting because I was like, that wasn't the demise where I think a lot of people went through some big shifts in their
Ah.
relationship. I think like that almost like made our relationship a little bit stronger in a sense
Oh.
where in like terms of like that friendship aspect of it and like just a
Hmm.
partnership. Um, but
So
anyway,
what was the when you both were like, okay, this is final, and then you were like, I'm gonna go to Europe and I'm just gonna like
yeah.
treat myself after going through something. So like what where for me it was signing the separation agreement, that was a major step, and
Yeah.
then signing the divorce paper, I was like, oh
Yes.
God, okay. So what
Yeah.
was it for you?
For me, it was selling the house.
Okay.
Yeah, it was selling the house and just immediately like I'm in my Margie era. Like this is it. Like I don't
Yeah.
even know if she went to Europe, and I was like, whatever, Marge, we're going to Europe, and I brought a little picture of her with me. So we
And where'd
went
you go?
I went to Paris. I was in Paris for like a week, and then I went to Lille, which is a little bit northern France, and then I was in Brussels, and that was like my second time being in Brussels. I love Brussels. And I was there for a while and like popped kind of all over, and then I ended up in Amsterdam on my last leg of my tour, and I was there for about like almost 3 weeks, and I just fell in love with Amsterdam. Like
Yeah.
that
It's
was
the
just it.
future place where you and I go and
Yes.
live. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. This is
have
where we
my kids
retire.
there and just like, yeah, no, it'll be fabulous. And I feel like at one point for about a year or so now, I've been like, I really want to be the ambassador of Amsterdam. Like
I
just
think you need
we're
that. I think that's
Canada.
a dual person role. I think that's Hillary and Nadine together.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. I need a coach. Yeah.
I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
there. Well, do you work with the
Diplomacy.
Enneagram?
Yeah, international relations.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need a coach. Like
I
I
love it.
I don't want to crack under pressure. Like, come
I'm
on.
there. I'm your girl. So you were gone for like 2 months, 3 months?
In Europe?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that long. Yeah, it was like 3 weeks, but it was by myself, and it was good.
Beautiful.
And then I came
Gosh.
home, and it was Christmas, and then I just kind of stayed in my apartment. So I had moved into my apartment in October, and I would say like the hardest part about that was like there was about a 2 week overlap where I was in the house by myself. And that was hard. Like that
Yeah.
was really because all of his stuff was gone.
I remember that moment too.
Yeah.
Sobbed.
Yeah, like really hard stuff.
Yeah.
And even though like I knew where he was and like I everything. Like I just it's not,
Mm.
we were still talking like almost like every day. And then when they moved everything out, again, I recognize the privilege that I have, and like I've worked really hard for that, to be able to afford these things. But I hired packers and movers for some of the last end of my stuff, and I just stayed like in a really nice hotel downtown Ottawa for a few days while they
Yeah.
just did all that. I was like, I don't want to see it. I just kind of want to show up to my new apartment when it opens, and then everything.
Hmm.
It wasn't like unpacked or anything, but I was like, I'll be there to let them in and move the stuff in and stuff like that. But there was a moment where I was like, I'm not ready for that just now.
Yeah.
See that final goodbye. And even when it came to having to move out those last things, like I just kept being like, can you do it? And he's like, yeah, I
It's
got
a
it. Great. Thank you.
deep, gut wrenching like wringing out everything on the inside feeling going through a divorce, even when you know it's the right thing. Like
Yeah.
I was married to a really kind person. I didn't have a nasty divorce. But we just weren't meant to be married. I did the same as you did. I don't know if I was a CEO, but probably knowing my personality, I just was like, well, this is what people do. And I happened to be dating a really lovely human who I did really love
Mhm.
for the first while, like many years until I fell out of love and didn't recognize it because it was a nice friendship, you know?
Yeah.
And so even when you're the driver of the realization like we shouldn't have gotten married, actually it is so heartbreaking.
So
And I
heartbreaking.
think that surprised people. Like I remember my dad one time, he was like, oh gosh, like I really miss who you used to be, because I think maybe it was 6 months into
Right.
our separation, and I think they were like confused, like, well, you're the one who wanted to separate, why are you so sad? And I would visit home and be probably a bit of a shell of myself because they were used to, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Nadine's happy. Look at her. No one worries about her. But I couldn't hide it at this point because I was
Yeah.
so devastated and heartbroken. And then the guilt of, well, I pushed for the separation, so now I've kind of upended this other person's life
Mhm.
and their future idea of what their life would be. It is a lot of
Ugh.
feelings,
Yeah.
right?
That
It's
cut.
so sad.
I come
Yeah.
back to that
Yes.
that shame and guilt loop, which I realized, and I
Yes.
had to stop myself because I'm just like, no, no,
Same.
no, like don't do that. But I come back to that. And I think those are the parts that make me the most sad is just thinking how it's affected him, you know?
Yeah.
And again,
It's
like,
like a responsibility for somebody else, even though they're also an adult. Like my mom would have to say to me, like, Nadine, he's also an adult and has all the tools that you do,
yes,
like to recognize things. Like it's just you saw it and you called it, but like he's also going to be okay. He's a,
yes,
like
yeah,
he's
and he is
capable.
okay, like
Yeah.
he is okay. But I still, from time to
Yeah.
time, you're just like, whoosh, and I'm like, oh, and I'm back there again. I'm back in that space where all of his stuff has moved out. I'm by myself. I'm in a place that I just like don't really recognize anymore. And I'm also like scared because I'm like, I don't know who I am right now.
Totally. I was going to say, did you
Yeah.
recognize yourself? Because I
No.
didn't.
But there was like a fear, but also an excitement because I'm like, I don't know who she's evolving into, but I'm really excited to see because she does not give as much fucks anymore about things and just really wants to support myself in a way that I don't think I think I was always leaning in that direction, but then was fully not fully evolved yet. And I don't think we like fully evolve like all the way, you know, well, like every
Mhm.
your life's a journey and you change and you go through different, you know, identities sometimes. And I think for me in that one moment was like a bit of fear of the unknown, obviously. Don't know what's going to happen next. I know that I have a new apartment. I know that I'm planning a trip to Europe by myself. I've started my own business. I am looking after myself in a really good way. I avoided alcohol a lot during that time too, just because I know like it just makes me extra emotional. So I was like, I don't want to go down one of those roads.
Yeah,
You know, like,
same.
I have like a good like understanding and healthy relationship with it to go like, maybe not for me right now. But and then there was also a part of like really wanting to explore like my sexuality. You know, I do identify as queer, really leaning into that and exploring those possibilities and had a lot of fun. I went on some like really met some really amazing like women, had some really great dates, you know, but like it was fun and it was exciting. And when I went to Europe, I went to all these like different like lesbian bars and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. This is my community." And I loved it. Like I was like, "Oh, I feel really at home here." And it was really great. And but then also realizing that I don't have any game. Just like, oh yeah, that's right. I've been married to a man for like the last like, you know,
Hey, what is game? Tell me
I
more. I mean, I know what it is, but how do we get
don't
it?
know. Well, like, so I am so extroverted. And so when I chat with people, and I always say this, like, I'm just very relational. And sometimes people confuse that with me maybe flirting or being extra interested in having like this additional spark. But I was like, no, I think some people like myself just have spark. And like that's it. And
Hmm.
I'm not gonna go home with you at the end of this, but I'm certainly gonna really engage with you and enjoy the conversation maybe more than someone else might not, but that's just because I'm deeply relational and I want to know more about you. Like it's been so hard for me sitting in this spot and not asking you questions because like
Yeah,
you know, because
get it.
I want to chat. I want to like find out. I want to dig deeper and like let's tell me all the things, you know? And I love that. And I feel like that's part of also some of the stuff which we'll talk about later with like Matchee Matchee is like getting to meet such a myriad of different people and just like asking them things and that I don't know if most strangers would ask. So,
Get it. That's podcasting. I'm like, this is
yeah.
so lovely. Like, I just get to sit across from people that I really want to sit across from.
Yeah. Love
Because
it.
it's mine. I'm not, I mean, LOL, imagine I'm not working for CBC, but if they wanna, but
Yeah.
like I get to be like, oh, I want to talk to this person. Oh, I want to ask this person about this. And then I just get to sit and the same. I'm like, tell me more. Tell me about Margie. And then I love when it's a surprise connection to something that I can relate to. Like I knew I'd relate to a lot of what you're speaking about from like someone else who went through a divorce and like a caring human who wants the other person to be okay and how devastating that all is, and all the parts and pieces of it. Even though for me it was a long time ago, it still sits quite
Mhm.
near the surface because it made me who I am
Mhm.
actually. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, it's lovely.
Mhm.
Okay, I need to go back to um, did you have a moment that you were like, fuck, I married the wrong person?
I have a hard time with that because I don't know if I was ever meant to be married. So it wasn't about marrying the wrong person. I just don't think I was ever supposed to be in that situation. Like I
Yeah.
mean I don't know how to say it because I don't want again, I really don't want to come across as like I regret it. I appreciate the experience and everything that it taught me. But there was definitely a moment where I'm also just really trying to tread lightly on this just because I don't want to in any way like misrepresent him or what had happened. But so I had a big procedure done in August of 2020, and it was like an emergency, what they thought was a hysterectomy, wasn't a hysterectomy. I had a benign like tumor sitting on my lower bowel. So they had this emergency surgery and stuff like that. And it really changed the composition of like my body. And I think that really changed the way in which I was physically, where I would allow myself to be intimate and physical. Right. And so that really changed things. And I sort of, I know for my own self, there's like, a shell of protection. Like obviously, like what feels like the most invasive parts of my body had just been like, you know, chopped up by a surgeon and then put back together. And they're like, "We did it!" And I was like, "This looks awful. Like, what have you done to me? You know,
Really?
what have you done?" Yeah. And so
How
I
did it
just
look awful? Tell me
it's just
more.
like they were like, "We're gonna go this way, and then we're gonna go that way," and then
Got you. Okay.
yeah, and it was just like, oh man, this wasn't like this
Yeah.
before. Like what? You know, and so I actually just recently in the last 2 years had like recorrective surgery to fix that. Um
Okay.
also I heal very funny with scars and like there was a lot of scar tissue and just the way they healed. I just like I was like, I don't like it. So I got that fixed, which is great.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
um but there was just obviously this shell that kind of like protection. I was taking on a job at a National Indigenous Youth Organization. It was again during the pandemic. There was a lot of craziness that was happening at the time, and I just felt like I could never get my I was constantly here, like in the water and stuff. And like then
Treading water and
treading water.
the levels rising. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people. So I was the executive director or executive auntie, as I like to call myself, but I don't think anybody really fully understood like what was happening personally, and then what was happening in like my home life. And there's also a really interesting position that you sort of get put in when you're in leadership where you actually can't divulge too much about yourself. It seems, at least those were the teachings that I was given by my board at the time, was just like, you're kind of by yourself and leadership's really lonely. And I was like, oh yeah, man, is it ever? I don't know if I fully agree with those teachings now, but there are certain things that I was learning. We're all learning and growing. Meanwhile, that kind of like goes into like the relationship, right? And I feel as though I suddenly started realizing that during this healing that I needed to do for myself, I don't think I was ready to be with someone while I was doing that and while I was growing and
Yeah.
while I was figuring it out. So it was never about like, oh, I've married the wrong person. It was like, oh, I don't think I should have done that just yet. I think I still had a lot of,
Relationship with yourself.
yeah, I think I still had a lot of that. And I was figuring out my queerness. I was like, there was a ton of stuff that was going on. And in those moments, I was like, oh, I don't think I can do all of this.
Mhm.
But we had also carved out that like there was such a special friendship within that relationship. But again, we both wanted a little bit more in terms of the rest of our lives, or the rest of our lives,
Yeah.
right? Like, so that's where that really plays a part. And I know like a lot of it was like the physical aspects. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's the first time I've said that out loud and not in like a therapy session. So
Thanks for sharing.
fresh scoop. No. No, it
Fresh
was like a
scoop.
moment as I'm talking about it. I was like, oh, I think I've only ever shared that with my therapist.
Mm.
Yeah, about that
You were,
shell and that protection and that needing to want to um, protect myself at all costs. And also, like, at the same time, like, I think there's a bit there where I'm also trying to protect him.
of course. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. Those conversations with him, and I asked this thinking of exactly the conversation that I had with my ex, and it gutted me. I still think of it as the saddest movie that I've ever watched, but I was
This,
in it.
yeah, the saddest day ever. I go back to it all the time. I was like, this is the saddest day ever.
Yeah, I actually have even deeper love for him picturing us in that moment because it could have been like like this angry, eruptive, like what the actual, and like not to say we didn't get angry. There definitely was anger there as well as sadness, but in that moment, we both literally just like I think when he realized when I was just like when I was brave enough to say the sentence, which is like I don't I think I married the wrong person because that's how I felt. I felt like shit. Like you're a good person, I'm a good person. Two good people don't necessarily make a really great thing, and we're 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 making each other's lives harder. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I definitely didn't say it so eloquently, but I tried to say it in a nice way. But I've been thinking of it for a long time. I mean, if you look back on pictures of me, I've always been similar to this size. I mean, I was bigger as a kid, but in my adult life, I shrunk to like a six. For me, that was like it was alarming. Like I remember going somewhere and someone was like, "Are you okay?" And I just didn't see it because I just kept, I don't know, probably trying to disappear because I was like,
Right.
"What?" Like Anyway, so I'm sure I mean, he saw it. I think it was just too hard for him to like really see what was happening. And so by the time I finally said it out loud to this person, um, I mean, I can still see his face and it like makes me like so sad. But and he left the house and I think he called his parents. And anyway, that evening we both lay in our bed and hugged each other and just both sobbed from like the deepest parts of ourselves. Cause, oh, I'm gonna get sad. Cause it was like even though you really love this person, it's like you have to let them go, or you have, and you also not only have to let that go, you have to let go all of the dreams and the plans that you had for the future. And
Yeah.
like, look at me, even though it worked out, like I knew it. Like when I started dating David, I was like, oh, this is how it feels.
Mhm.
Not to take away from when I first started dating my ex, I really loved him, but there was a difference with this partnership. And still knowing that like, gosh, you really made the right decision. This was supposed to happen this way, and you've ended up how you were supposed to end up, and life actually was really wonderful. It
Mhm.
still is so sad to think of that moment, which is why I ask about that moment for
Yeah.
you. But was there multiple of those moments for you?
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm actually like I remember it was like it was sometime early spring and I remember because again as I was talking about I was like when the weather's nice I was like let's go for a walk. Funny enough, we went for a walk in the glebe and I remember just like we were walking and crying
Yeah.
like the two of us, just like trying to figure it out. And like, I'm so solutions focused. And I was like, I just don't have sorry, I'm starting to cry. I was like, I just don't have a solution for this.
Yeah.
There's no solution. There's no, I can't. And a big part of it too, like, this is really important. I'm funny that I've like been dancing around it, but a big part of why we also like chose to like go in this direction was there was because I've been leading up with it, I guess, a bit where it was like he never wanted to move in together, we moved in together. He never wanted to buy a place together, we bought a place together. He never wanted to like get engaged, we got engaged. Like he never wanted to get well, all that stuff, right? And so like he and I'm not saying that I forced him into these things. Like he is a grown man, like he chose to do all this stuff. I'm a lobbyist by trade. I'm sure there was a little bit of lobbying involved in this. And so, like, but, and I remember these conversations, like, it with each single chapter of stuff. Like, it was like when I didn't get what I wanted. When my nephews were born, there's this moment, like, when my first nephew was born, there's a moment, and I remember it being like, oh no, I have never felt this kind of love for something like this much ever. Oh, is this what like a lot of women talk about, and non-binary folks? Like, this is what that sudden need and want, because I've never really had it before. I've always kind of been on the fence about kids. I'm not sure if that's what I've wanted. This is really interesting. And then I was like, oh, I think I might want to explore having children. And he was like, from day one, I've said no. Like, I don't want.
Mm.
And that's where like the biggest part of these conversations came in, where it was like, okay, I can't force you to do. I don't want to have. For me, the big
Yes.
realization was like, I don't want to have a kid with you, actually,
Yeah,
because
that's not something you can lobby for.
yeah, I can't lobby. I can't lobby this one.
No,
I can't lobby my way
no.
out of this one, right? And I was like, because that's not fair. But
Yeah,
I don't know if I want a kid. Like I just don't know. But I can't be in this relationship where that's not a possibility to fully understand if that's something that I want. And that
totally
was a
get
big
it.
part of it too. So like there's a moment I remember in our kitchen, and I remember him kind of doing it because he's such a good guy to go like, okay, okay, like we'll try, And like, okay, great. But then always thinking in the back of my head is like, did I just does he really want, and like I just know that he like just didn't. And I remember hearing from different people who also knew him being like, oh, he'll love it, he'll enjoy it. I was like, but what if he doesn't? Like, what if
Mm.
or what if I don't, like that? So I didn't know if I really, and a lot of that was coming from people who had kids. So I was like, I don't know. You're also not totally selling it to me right now either. Like, you all look really tired, and like, but I also understand there's even seeing it this past weekend, like I was surrounded by 5 and like 4-year olds at like a Super Mario themed birthday party, and like they're screaming and yelling, but like even the parents, they look so tired. But then there's moments, and these kids are so sweet, and you could just see the parents being like, oh, I just love that they're having fun, this is so nice to watch this like joy. And you're like, oh, I get it. Oh, I can see that
Hmm.
for you. But
For you.
yeah, I totally get that for you. No, and again, like it's still one of those parts where it's like, I don't know where the world's gonna take me. I just know that if I was with this one partner, that would be so unfair to them. Like I
Yeah,
would be taking away a choice for them in as much as they would be taking a choice away from me. And we both love each other so much to know that we don't want to do that to each other. So and I even remember at one point being like, well, what if I just have the baby and like we're still together? And he's like, that's not how this works. Like, how does that work? Like
I know.
it doesn't.
I
And
get like throwing all the ideas out there. Like, I think the day or the next day after I told him that we shouldn't have gotten married, or we weren't meant to be, the next day I was like, okay, but we could be friends. And there was a show on called The New Adventures of Old Christine. It was a
okay, yeah.
Julia Louis Dreyfus show
Yeah.
where, yeah, so it was like she was married to this guy. Her name is Christine in the show, and they got divorced and he married another Christine. And I was like, we could be friends, like The New Adventures of Old
Yeah.
Christine. And he was like, I remember he was sitting on the couch, and I think I was like in a chair across from him. And he was like, too soon. Like, and I think it came across as cold because I've been dealing with this internally
I'm
for
only laughing because
months.
this is very relatable.
Oh yeah, because I was like, I had already processed like that this was happening, and he was mad at me for that. Like he was like, you should have brought me into this a long time ago. And I don't know what the right or the wrong is. I just wasn't ready because I didn't know myself. I was like, what's happening? Like I felt like I was a stranger. I was in a relationship with me, and I had no clue who I was. So I went to like a couple of really best friends and told them, and then I told my sister, and then I told my mom, my dad before I told him. But that's the only way I could figure it out. And I also was in therapy the whole time.
Yeah.
But I mean, like looking back on it, I'm like, he could see the decline of Nadine.
Yeah.
It was very apparent. But so I appreciate where he was coming from. Like I had just let him into this really terrifying room with me where I had been living for a long time and like slowly losing myself, and everything that I knew. But the idea that I could hold on to a piece of him, it was so like I just wanted that so bad because I'm like, I like hanging out with you. You're a good person. And I
Yeah.
remember I was like, you'll get married. Like you'll find someone will love you. Like, and he would say the same to me. He's like, someone's gonna love you so much. Like it was very sweet. And then on the flip side, I mean, at one point I think I called him a cunt. Oh, there's like real big anger. And then there was like real deep sadness. There's room for all of it. But I did really want to he was like, I can't. It's too hard for me to keep that friendship going. And then he moved from Ottawa, so we lost touch. But I get the desire for it because
Yeah.
I also was like, we don't have to lose this.
Yeah.
But you know what? I couldn't lobby for that because that was
Yeah.
his decision
And,
to.
and I'll say this on our end, I don't think there was really any lobbying having to be done about like let's maintain this as a friendship because we
Oh,
both knew they're like let's do this before we really start resenting each other and before it gets
ah,
too dark. And that's why I was like we need to go to therapy to maintain like this friendship. And
yeah.
like yeah, lots of tears on that couch, lots of like just moments of just like tenderness and like resistance and like also but it's just from the very get-go, like I remember our therapist just would constantly say, like, it's so clear that there's such an abundance of love and respect for you. Like, and she'd be like, it's so refreshing to have like you guys come in compared to like most like things because it was how do we do this in a really good way? Like that's without a question. Like, I think one of the coolest parts was I threw a Christmas party this past Christmas, obviously. And my now partner was there, my mom was there, the boys were there, and my ex was there. And it just like, and so all my friends saw that and they were like, whoa, like this is really happening. Like we're really doing this. I'm like, yeah, we're really doing
Yeah.
that. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes my sense of humor can be really bad, but like I remember at one point my partner got a glass of Mike brought wine, a really nice wine, which is also interesting too. He never drank wine while we were together, and now he's into like a really great deep
Of
body
course.
red wines, and I'm like,
Listen, he's got
okay,
game. He's on the market. He's
yeah,
like, I
right.
gotta get into this. Yeah.
Whatever. I was trying to get you to drink wine for like 9, 10 years, and they just, anyways, no. And so he brought a really lovely bottle of red wine. And so my partner goes to like open it and hands him the drink. And my first reaction was like, oh, don't drink that, Mike. It's poisoned. And like, and they were just like,
So good.
or like they'll be talking like, why are you both obsessed with me? And like just being such an ass where they both are like, you gotta stop doing that. But one of my favorite moments, I've never talked to both of them about this, is funny. I'm fine to keep this in the podcast. So I sell my beadwork, and on Saturdays, both not partners, I should both people that are very important in my life know in separate occasions that on Saturdays I like to have a flat white. On Saturdays, I call it my flatty satty. And I am at my vending, and Mike shows up, and he shows up with a flat white. 2 minutes later, Matt shows up with a flat white, and I just like,
They're
what
obsessed with you.
calm rom am I in right now? This is so great.
That's so
It's
great.
just like, thanks. And like they both brought a sweet treat for me. And I was like, this is the best.
You're deeply loved.
Right? And like I was like, this is so nice. This is
Yeah.
so, so nice. It's so sweet to have these people, but it's that reciprocity though, right? Like that to me is what's so important. It's like, I'm joking about, how much they like love me and are obsessed with me, but like it's the same. I love and I'm obsessed about them and making sure that they're okay. And like I cannot not care
Hmm.
about the people in my life and making sure that they're comfortable and like they're still so part of it. Like I went on vacation with my brother's ex-wife and my parents were there, right? Like, and it's the first time they've seen each other is since the divorce. Like it was
It's beautiful.
without a question. It was like,
Like,
no,
why
like
can't we have that? Like,
we
why
can.
can't like I remember saying like, while I was separated and going through, we did the whole like you legally separate and then I think you have to wait a year and then the government's like, oh, you've really made up your mind now? Like I can't even get
Yeah.
like I can't. It makes me so mad. All that to say, I was in that moment and I remember saying to one of my good friends at home in Newfoundland, I'm like, I think he'd be great for your friend. And she was like, most people during a separation, because I was still like very sad. Like I was still going through all the mourning of it
Yeah.
and learning who I was and all the things. Like I wasn't out there living my life and not thinking about this. This took me out for a good year, if not more. But I wanted him to be happy, and I thought this would have been a great match actually. And she was like, I can't relate to what's happening with you right now. And I'm like, why can't I get on board with like I'm not just this isn't me trying. I mean, maybe a bit of it was still trying to take care of him,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
But I genuinely was like, I think they'd be a great match. Like, why does it have to be as long as like you just said, like there was no I've had breakups of friendships that have been I don't want anything to do with them because they've harmed me deeply. But like
Mhm.
this person didn't harm me and and I tried my best not to harm him. And so I just didn't understand why it had to be like I remember also being like, I don't need to get divorced from this person. And my brother was like, is say what like you do, like what if something happened and also he didn't want to continue the friendship. So we did have to get
Yeah.
divorced because if yeah, something happened. But I was like living where you are, but I was living there by myself. Like it wasn't a reciprocal and I couldn't lobby for that. I just why does it have to be as long as there's no harm and it wasn't an abusive relationship, why does it have to be so polarizing, us versus them?
Mhm. I think
What is that?
it's just like defense mechanism. I think we're like told at a really young age that um when you're harmed, like you put up that protection and that shell, right? And I think it's almost easier to I do think it is. I think it can be a lot easier to resent someone and to make them the problem, not the problem, but like they're the reason why this is like this and create them
Yeah,
as like us for me versus them than it is to do your own self work to go, where am I accountable in this? And
yeah,
also like, how do we find like we're just humans,
yeah.
we're just a bunch of people farting around. Like that's it. Love and
No,
light.
right? Like these
Like that's really it. It's at the end of the day. I think it's just also growing up in an environment where the concept of community is so valued. And what does that look like? And like community isn't defined by one person, it's defined by everybody and like the collective unit. I think that was like really helpful too for me, just
mm.
going in that direction.
And
Um,
everyone was behind it. Like all your friends, all your family, they're like, "Yes, we get it. You're both still."
well, no, not like I don't think a lot of people actually got it. They didn't quite understand it. It was a very scratching, like I don't fully understand. I remember when I told my parents that we were doing this, because originally we positioned as like we're moving away from each other. And then my dad's first concern was about the house and how much on our investment. And then my mom's concern was about him. Was he going to be okay? And I was like, "Hi.
Person with
What?
big feelings.
What the fuck?" Like, you guys. So then I had
Yeah.
to work through that with my parents, be like, we need to talk about this. And that took a while too, because I was also dealing with like the grief of this relationship. And then on top of that, I'm just like, what? Such interesting choices to have made during that moment. But I had a lot of friends that just didn't quite understand it. And I think the pivotal moment is when they're at that Christmas party and they can see how loving and caring Mike and I are and respectful with each other. And just like truly, I was like, oh, my best friend's here. This is great. The party started, like, Mike's here, you know? And we still have friends, like mutual friends, that'll still be like, oh, I hung out with Mike recently. I hope that's okay. I'm like, yeah, it's
Yeah, me too.
like what? Yeah, like we just had dinner together the other night. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm just like, what? But it's this old
Yeah.
way of thinking about relationships where I think a more decolonial approach is just really seeing that person's heart and soul and just being like, I still want to be part of that. And I think that's
Hmm.
really, really valuable. And yeah, like I don't know, maybe down the road I'll figure it out and be like, oh, maybe it is a trauma response why I keep, but like no one, I don't know. I feel like it's just for me, it's easier to forgive people and it's easier to look at the light and the joy than it is to like really focus on like those really hard parts. And you know,
Hmm.
I too have had to like say goodbye to some friendships and stuff like that in the past. And like I think that those are my reoccurring nightmares that I have is with those people, you know, which is interesting because I'm just like, oh, I wish
Say
that,
more.
yeah, I just wish that I could mend those relationships. Like those are the ones that come up. And so it's very out of scope for me to not have good relations with people.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the people that you don't, like the people that you actually had have to separate
Yeah.
from or have had to
Yeah.
separate from, those are the ones that almost they haunt you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All the time. And then I have that urge to like, I should just call them.
Mm.
No, I can't. I'm just like, I can't. It's one of those, it's also one of those pieces where you alluded it to, or you did say it, just there are certain friendships and relationships that just, a friend of mine said this to me recently is like, it's when they know all the nuclear codes and they pressed all the codes. And you're like, I don't know if we can come back from that. You know all the
Yeah.
codes. You pressed all the
Mm.
buttons. Those were the one codes you weren't supposed to, you know, press, and then you did. And then it's just like, how do we come back from that?
What a way to say it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Just like, oh no, like those were like you don't press the codes. It's like,
Yeah.
you press the
Yeah.
codes. And
It's
for what,
devastating, isn't it?
yeah,
It's
and for what
devastating.
purpose was that for?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't, it's not reciprocal. You don't
Yeah.
see me the way I see you, or you don't see this
Yeah.
relationship the way I see the relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to,
Yes.
okay, I see it. That's okay. You're going to go do you. I'm going to go do me. That's fine. I have nothing but love and respect for you, and I wish you well. And that's it.
Mm.
Just got to wish them well.
Someone recently pressed a code, I suppose, and I called my brother and I was like, "Can you believe this?" And he was like, "I mean, this, like it's been more evident how this person's been showing up." And he said, "It's information for you to take to decide what you want to do with this relationship."
Yeah.
And I was like, God, that's such a cold way to see it, but also a very helpful way to see it. And it's something I've said back to people many times because I found it almost took away that sunk cost fallacy. It's like I've known this person for my entire life, pretty much since I've been like 14. And I'm like, right. I think of all of the not sunk cost because it was a beautiful friendship as long as it played out, but like all of that history and all of that love and all of the silliness of being little kids together and teenagers together and growing up into your 20s together, and then to not have that person. But it's like instead of getting lost in the like I'm going to hang on to something while this person keeps hitting those nuclear buttons,
Yeah.
and I'm going to hold on to it because of what it was. It's like
Yeah.
let that go and give yourself room and space to let somebody else in that actually is going to I don't know, love you like you love them, I
Yeah.
suppose is the best way to say it. But it is, I think we stay in things so long sometimes because of that. Like if I think of my ex husband, it was a part of like, oh God, but like, and I was only in my early 30s. I was 33 when we were divorcing. And I remember being like, but like I've known him for 7 years. He knows like he has this part of me, and like we've done this, and we've got married. It's like this, you have to hang in there because of what you did. And my mom said to me, she was like, look, I know it's only been a year, and that's something you're going to be in therapy about to figure out why you married him. When, a year later, you're like, I shouldn't have married you. But she was like, you're still young. And like, this could be, I don't care if you're 68. And if you want to leave, leave, right? Because you
Yeah.
still have life left. But she was like, on one hand, yes, I'm sure it's going to mess you up while you got married for a year. But on the other hand, what a gift you've given yourself to have realized this in a year. You could be here for the next 10, 15, 20. And then she said, that's what would be really sad. Like,
Yeah.
that's what would make me sad for you. She was like, I'm sad for you, but I'm not that sad for you. You're going to be okay, and he's going to be okay.
Hmm.
So it's like trying to take away, like, I'm going to stay because of what it was and be like, well, what could life be if you let this go?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful.
I remember mom said to me when I told her we were driving to Montreal, and I it was a ruse. I was planning to tell her that I married the wrong person, but
Got her in a car.
I definitely needed a good 18 years of therapy because this was when I was like 31 and now I'm 48. But back then, this is who I was. And under a ruse of like taking mom to Montreal for her birthday, I was like, this is what I'm going to tell her. And so we're driving there and I start to tell her in the car and blah, blah, blah. So we're walking into our hotel and we're both like, we'd been crying for a long time. And she was like, we're getting to the elevator. I see exactly where we were. And she said, what are you most afraid of? And I said, I'm afraid that I'm going to spend the rest of my life alone, but feel lonely. And she
Mm.
said, she said, I think that's what I would have been afraid of as well. And my mom and dad they loved each other dearly and still do. My dad died, but like they were each other's person. So she didn't know what this felt like. But she said, I think that's what I would be afraid of as well. But she said, it's way lonelier to be in a relationship with someone you don't want to be in a relationship with. And I'm like, fair. Then we got in the elevator and just continued to cry. And then she said, we got to get drunk. And then we went to a restaurant and I ordered two double gin and tonics for me and her.
Oh my
She
God.
took a sip and was like, right, I don't really like drinking. And I drank both of those doubles. And I was the only one hungover the next day. Lorraine, well played. So
So,
who was like your go-to for those like dark nights of the soul moments? Was
oh
it
my God.
Mike?
But like when everything was going down,
Yeah.
oh, it was my best friend, Lisa. Yeah.
Mm.
And Lisa and I have been best friends since grade seven. Yeah, and I just, yeah, 100%. As well as like Carly, my brother's ex-wife. It's your girlfriends, you know. It's like it
Yeah.
really is your girlfriends that get you through it. My therapist, obviously, but yeah, like those were my people. Like just going to them, I think, as well as Mary as well, Mare. Yeah, like just yeah, like that was a big part of it. Where those I would say those folks were definitely yeah, that was a big one.
And that first night in the bed by yourself,
Mm.
how were you?
Uh, Not good. I definitely I remember um I had drank a lot of wine that night. So that's what I remember and being like, "Oh no, I'm gonna feel this tomorrow." And I think that was also when I was like, "Oh, I shouldn't do this moving forward." Like I knew that like going to bed, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna feel it more the next day." And the next day I did. Like I just was like I couldn't really get out of the bed. I just felt like absolute garbage. I'm pretty sure like Uber Eats, like McDonald's all day. Like I like barely ate any of it. I had the dog with me, which was great. So that was like really helpful. And she's a Cocker Spaniel, so I used her ears as like Kleenex a lot of the time. And dogs are so good like that. They're such good, like they have such good energy when it comes to like being sad or sick. Like they just know. Um, yeah, it was just really hard. Like I just remember being like, "Oh, I don't like this feeling. It's not, when is it going to end? Like when does this stop?" And then also having the foresight and potentially the in my toolbox or my tool bag, whatever you want to call it, to go, "Oh, I just have to I the only way out of this is through and I just have to sit in this misery." And there's something about it that I just go, what a blessing it is to feel miserable. Like just
Right?
just to go like I know that sounds like very toxic
No,
positive.
that's nice. No, it's not. It's not.
What a blessing to feel these things and
Mm,
to have experienced love like this.
mm.
And then I would go back to just feeling super depressed and sad and being like, why did I do that? And I was like, I'm just gonna go have a lorazepam. Um, just gonna ignore that, but also knowing like I can't do that either.
Yeah,
Like you have to go through it and you have to
yeah.
feel these things. Um, because it's just going to make you stronger. It's just going to, you're going to get through it. And like I remember there are days where I would just like count it down to go like, oh, okay, I get to go to sleep in about 4
Yes.
hours. And then
Yeah, I only have to make it through 4 more hours.
I said, that's all I got. I can get through it. I can get through it. And threw myself into work, like threw myself into it and just like booked trip after trip after trip. Like I remember I think I only in like I can't remember the exact period of layover. Yeah, the layover between him leaving and me having like ownership of the house. It wasn't very long. I think I was in that house for maybe like 4 or 5 days. And I was like, oh, I have a new contract. Oh, my client
Yeah,
needs to see
right.
me. Gotta go. But did they? No. I just wanted to get out of there and needed an excuse to. So I did and was like running a bit from my problems and then realized that I needed to not do that. And I think the big one was when I was in my own apartment by myself and I was like, okay, all right, this is it.
So when the desire is there to go work and travel and busy yourself so you don't just sit in that awfulness because it's so flipping hard to sit in that awfulness. When did you not stop running from it? Because there's a place where you reach where it's a balance of
Mm,
day-to-day stuff and like getting back to yourself and like learning what you like now, learning who you are and therapy and sitting in it.
yeah.
When did you stop running, I suppose, to stop long enough to try and find a balance? How did
Um,
you come to that even realization that you were running?
It took like 7 to 8 months, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, to really just like allow for the wave to sort of crash down a bit. I remember I was like sitting outside. I had just gone for a really long walk. And yeah, there was just this moment, this sudden thing being like, I think I'm gonna be okay. I think I'm gonna be okay. And it just kind of happened like and because part of it was my dog Annie we would do like the co-parenting thing and there was a good while there where I could not let the dog go like I was like no I need someone in this space with me. I need someone in this and I still have those moments. But I also read a study that like you sleep better with your dog in your bed. It's like, oh, that's great. This is helping me anyways. But there was a few weeks there where I had a really difficult time with having to like let her go because I didn't want to be by myself in my new apartment. And then it just like time, it just passes. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when I decided I was like, oh, I think I'm ready to just see what's out there and maybe just do a little dating. And I did. And, I went on lots of dates, again, lots of women and non-binary people and loved it. It was fun. And then one day I had decided that I was just like, first, I will say the art of language or the art of communication is lost on a generation. And I was like, oh, as someone who's extroverted, like I am, this is killing me. Like it was just like, wow, people do not know how to have
Really?
conversations. Yeah. Like, and I was like, oh no, what have I gotten myself into? Like I just online, like just I'm like, wow, it's like tennis. I'll ask you a question. You can literally just take the same question, package it, and then send it right back to me. Like it's not let me lead. Let me lead this for you. And like people just wouldn't, or I'd go on dates and I'd be like, I get it. People are nervous and stuff. And again, I know that I have a spark and an energy, and that's okay. And for me, I was like, maybe it's just not the right fit. Like if you can't handle my spark, then like this just isn't gonna work. Cause like
Hmm.
trust me, babe, I'm gonna keep shining. Like
Yeah.
I can move mountains. Like like
So much.
I will. And so
And, yeah. And someone needs to find, like, someone needs to want to embrace that energy and not
yes,
even match it, but like be able to find a rhythm in it
yes.
and around it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And like just like the back and forth. And there's
Yes.
I find more titillating and sexy and exciting when someone could just like boom, 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 boom. And I love that. And I decided just one day, I was like, well, what's happening on the other side again? Like, I know I wasn't going to go down this road. I was just going to see. And within the first moment of like switching the app, I messaged someone. They just seemed kind of like my kind of weird, but also
Wait,
like
switching the
cool.
app, what do you mean?
Like you can switch from like the genders that you're interested in.
Oh, okay, okay,
I was like,
okay.
oh, I'm gonna see what's going on with the men. Like
Okay, cool.
I've been down that road, but like I'm just gonna see. And then I start talking with this one person, and it's just like it's back and forth. And I was like, oh, like what is happening here? Like play it cool, play it cool. And I'm still like dating like a lot of other people at this time. So I'm just like, just add them to the roster. Like I'm not looking for a relationship. It is about to be the summer. I have my new place downtown. I just want to go on dates. I just want to be wined and dined when I'm around. I'm never around because I'm constantly working. And again, series after bad date after bad date after bad date. And then finally, I end up going on a date with this one person. And I like, again, the bar is so, I hate saying this, but like we joke about it now. I'm like, the bar was so low. Like the night before, I went on a date with someone and they went to the bathroom and they didn't come back for 45 minutes. And then, like, it was just so bad. Yeah. And it was like,
Wait, did you
cool.
wait the 45 minutes
Yeah,
there?
because I'm a good person and I was worried. And I was like, they're like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom and then I got to run to the bank. And where we were downtown, I was like, there are three banks within a stone's throw of each other. I don't, and they came back and I was like, I'm gonna go. Because I just wanted the satisfaction of just being like, I have to go now. Like this is unacceptable behavior.
Did
So
they think it was acceptable?
I don't know. Maybe it was explosive diarrhea. I have no idea. Like it was just like maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
But
okay.
just say something. Like they didn't respond to their text, and I was like, "What is going on here?" And so, which was so
What a
interesting.
power move. They get back and you're there. You're like,
I have to
Hmm.
go now.
I'm a good
Yeah,
person.
yeah,
Bye. Lose my
yeah.
number.
And like I was fine. I was sitting at the bar. I'm talking with the bartender. We're all kind of turning it into like a big like, what happened here? I was like, man, I don't even know. Like I'm supposed to be on a date with this person. Like she just took off and I am by myself. She comes back. She's like, hey, sorry about that. And I was like, cool.
No explanation?
Yeah, no, no, no real explanation. I
Do
was like,
you think she'll come on the podcast next week? What questions? Like,
it was explosive diarrhea. No, I don't know. I just like, and if it wasn't, trust me, I'm a girl with GI problems. If it was, tell me about it. Like,
judgment, but like answer
no
your
judgment. I'd
text.
be like,
You have time.
yeah, I've got Imodium, I've got Pepto. What do you need, babe? Like, I've got you. Trust me. Let's go get some fennel and peppermint tea. Like, I got you. Don't worry. No. So left, went home, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I had a date like every single night that weekend, and I was like, that's right. I have a day date with this guy, Matt. And I was like, all right, fine, let's do it. So I show up and we're like, let's just go for a walk. And I walk in the door and I just was like, oh, he's like really charming and handsome in person. We went for a walk and the walk was just like boom, 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 boom. Like it was just nonstop for like 2.5 hours. We kind of got lost. We ended it. I told him a story about my surgery, and he did this thing. I always say it was like such a power move where he like reached for my hand. He's like, "I'm so sorry that happened to you," and it was like very genuine. It was like, "Oh no, I can see your heart right now." Like I was like, "Oh, you're a really good person. Like this isn't a move. This is actually who you are. Like you genuinely care about me and about people around you." And I was like, wow, like that's just something I haven't experienced in a while, like with a random person. And I was just like, wow, I really see this. It's also like super funny. And then as much as I like was like, I don't want to be in a relationship, I don't want to be in a relationship. And I was like, I kept saying, I was just like, I just can't be tamed. That's it. And I just over time like just fell like really deeply in love with this person. And I wasn't expecting it. I really wasn't. Like it truly just caught me completely off guard. Um, and then we designed an app together. and, and now we have Matchee together. Matchee Matchee.
Matchee Matchee came from this relationship.
It did. Yeah.
Can you tell me more?
So he really, I always say, like, he's the brains and I am the beauty, but it truly, like, I'm the brains too. Again, we're all going through this, like, particular cycle in our lives, about in our 40s, divorce, separation, new city, new friends, kids are out of the house, whatever it is, you name it. And suddenly you're in a city that is can be a big bubble for a lot of
Yep.
folks, and you're
Yep.
trying to make new friends. And so for him, he had been going to this another group, another app that also
Which is
does
what?
go for dinners with random strangers. That's what it
Okay.
is. But there's
Okay.
no rhyme or reason. Your only matching point for it is your price point. So I've had actually a lot of girlfriends that have gone to these things, and they're just like, man, that was like a waste of 2.5 hours of my time. I was sitting with like the weirdest people, and not weird in the fun way, just weird and like, why are we at the same table together? Like, this is just,
Okay.
yeah. And so he had felt the same thing. And he and another person had created a WhatsApp group called The Leftovers. And
From
they
like a matching.
from matching from this app, right? And
Okay.
so
Okay.
they would have dinners together, they'd go to events together, and I met them all, and I was like, oh, this is so much fun, and it kind of had a life
Mm.
of its own, and I was like, wow, I really love this same thing. People just looking to connect with other people in this city. And I've been very fortunate. I've had the same group of friends for a number. I mean, I'm an Ottawa native, like I've been here forever, so I've got the same group of friends. But I also going through this transitional period was like, I kind of also want to see like who else is out there in like this space. Like Ottawa is so big. And so he started working on something about, for him, it came from our original communication. Because he was just like, it was so nice to have someone that you just had this like, this
Yeah.
witty repertoire and like back and forth, and how amazing that was. He's like, how could we create that for other people? And that's sort of where I come in and being the more like, I mean, he's very sociable, but like being more attuned to relations and things like that to go, I mean, that's not always going to happen. And I remember talking about it with one of my friends and saying, I hated it when I was on the apps and like you'd send someone a message and they just wouldn't get back to you for a few days. And she was like, oh my God, I love that. She's like, I need that in my life. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I was like, oh, different communication styles, of course.
Yeah. Of
I like
course.
that. So taking into account of that, and then just over time, he just kept working away on it. And it was just this idea. And we always talked about different concepts and what it would look like in Ottawa and how you could do this in real time. And how do we partner with restaurants to make sure that, the app is designed so that you're going to a new local Ottawa gem, because that's what Ottawa is all about, is how we have these amazing places and all this stuff. And then there's this moment in March, and I'm watching Love is Blind, and he's in the background. And I'm just like, oh my God, I love the show. And he's like, guess what? I'm like, what? And he's like, the app just got approved on the Apple Store. I was like, that's amazing. What does that mean? I don't understand that. And he explained to me, he's like, it's a real thing now. And I was like, wow, okay. So we sent it to a bunch of friends, and everyone tore it apart, as they do. Like, I don't understand it, explain it, and stuff. And it's so funny because he's very much of like the tech behind it and like the big
Yeah.
picture and how the sausage is made. And I'm more of like the relational, like how people understand it and stuff like that. So he would get really frustrated when someone would ask a question about it. It was like, let me deal with the people.
Yeah. I got this.
You've been stuck on this for like 9 months in your head. Not everyone's going to understand the evolution of it. So what the app was in March is totally different from how it is now. And basically what it does is we use a very like sophisticated and like intentional algorithm that matches people up based on their interests and like their music profiles and like the type of personalities that they have. This is just the beginning stage of it. And then you get put together in small groups and you go for dinner and drinks at 7 p.m. on Thursday at a local Ottawa restaurant. And we don't do chains. And the idea is that you go, you can decide afterwards, is it a match? Is it not a match? Is it new friends? Maybe it's something more. And if you both decide you want to be new friends, then you can start messaging each other in the app. And so we've had people that have gone so far as being like, I'm just gonna give you my number. Like, let's just chat
Yeah,
outside of it,
cool.
getting together and meeting up, which is really great. And so, but part of it was what I really wanted to focus on was the experience of Ottawa and just getting across this question like, how do you meet new people in Ottawa? And
Hmm.
hearing from so many different folks about the different ways that they do it, from, turning to someone at a bar and chatting with them, joining a run club, or even just walking into a shop and talking with people. Some of my favorite ones were, I think there was one about like Pokemon and like play I probably Pokemon like saying probably saying that totally Pokemon. Let's make sure I say that right. And like doing like and I just like I love this. There's so many of these subcultures,
Hmm.
ways to connect, and I think that we just in Ottawa can become so siloed and in our own bubbles that we forgot that there's so many other freaks out there like ourselves that we're just wanting to connect with. I have met people who are on like some of the like kinkiest dating sites, and I was like, good for you. Like that's
Yeah.
amazing. Like wow. And like they're just all these individual weirdos that are meeting each other. And I'm like, I love it because I'm a big weirdo too. And that's what I love about like this whole experience has been being able to meet different walks of life and different people who are also just looking for connection in this big, beautiful city of ours, and having a hard time doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to meet people, not just like a partner, but it's hard to meet friends as an adult for sure, especially when you move somewhere. And Ottawa is pretty transient, right? Like people move
Yeah.
in and out and in and out. And the federal government is such a big cocoon community. And if you're outside of it, which I always have been, when I first moved here and I'd meet someone, they were talking always in these, like, yeah, acronyms always. And I'm just like, what? What's PCO? What's this? Yeah,
Yeah.
always. Okay, so you met someone,
Mhm.
not looking to meet someone. I love the
Yes.
series of dates. And
Yeah.
can we one day podcast just about dates? Because I need
Dates.
to
Yeah.
hear more of these stories.
Gosh.
And then you end up meeting someone that now you've launched an app together.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, let me just say this. Um, this isn't like, oh, this is Hillory 2.0 and she's better and she's making better connections. This is just waiting for you when you're ready to let something go.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you could still be in that old home that you were living in with this person that you still just love
Yeah.
and living like dimmed down, like
Hmm.
your light, your energy dimmed because you're I mean, it's a lot of energy out to stay in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And if you just go through it and do some really difficult work and also therapy to figure out what you brought to the table there, like clean up your side of the street. It's always what I'm
Yes.
always saying,
Yeah. And I'm still
right?
cleaning. Like
I'm
there's
always going to be cleaning.
I'm always gonna be cleaning.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Constantly.
Um but but do the work for yourself. I
Yeah.
know it's really hard. The point isn't to not feel uncomfortable. The point is to live feeling uncomfortable until you no longer feel uncomfortable. And then that's just always a reminder,
Hmm.
right? Like I'm not going to forget how that felt because that was earth-shattering sadness and I hated that whole year and also look back on it with this like so much compassion for myself and like so I'm so grateful I went through it. And I'll never forget it, which helps me not do it again, which helped me be a better communicator with David. Because I think about your story to my story, and I mean, there's many differences, of course, but something that stuck out as you were saying it, I'm like, oh, I think she brought him in to the into your mind a little sooner, right? Like you opened the door on what was really happening for you sooner
Hmm.
than I did. So when I opened the door, it definitely was more earth shattering. And I
Yeah.
understand that now because I wasn't great at understanding how I was feeling. I mean, I was really good at lying to myself. So I was obviously really good at lying to this other person. Um, Whereas you, I think, and I could be saying this wrong, were like, something's, I'm not feeling, you had your surgery, you're like, something's different, I'm shifting. Who am I? What am I? What is this relationship with myself? And then you let Mike into that conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And look where you are now. And like, hopefully he's doing really well as well. And
Yeah.
okay, when you were like, I'm dating, how did he take it?
Not good. That was hard. That to me
Okay.
is like one of the hardest ones that we've had. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like easy. Even when you consciously uncouple, it's
Yeah.
not that it's easier. Maybe it's even harder because, there's one thing to be like, well, I'll never see you again. You're
Yeah.
trying to bring him along as you evolve.
Yeah.
Right.
That was really hard. I would say like that's one of the second saddest days too. Yeah. Just because I could see we both knew at one point it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. And I think
Yeah.
like at that point, it was just like, oh yeah. Oh, okay. This is
It's
happening.
happening.
It's happening,
Yeah.
you know? And so, yeah, that was a really hard day. And we did like, again, remember I told him on the couch and then like my couch. And then I think like a week later we had therapy together. And that was a big session to
Two
like,
of you.
yeah, like okay, we got to talk about it. And yeah, and like those following sessions were also like really hard and stuff, just because it was for me again, and I hurt someone that I love and care about so deeply, and I know that I had done that, and I didn't mean to like that. Like I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this either, like that this
Hmm.
was going to turn into something the way that it did, and but it did, and I'm it did.
Yeah.
And that's it. And now they're best friends. No, they're not.
Who love flat whites.
Well,
What is your one piece of advice for someone that's going through it?
like going through separation and all
Hmm.
that. Oh man. Have your own money.
Mm.
Yeah, like
Huge.
get on top of that. But not that that was an issue with us, but I would just say like really learn to forgive yourself. Like I think guilt and shame, no matter what. I think everyone that I've ever talked to who's gone through divorce separation carries some amount of guilt and shame from that actual like departure of the relationship. And just realizing that like A, you're not alone, you're not the only one's probably feeling that way. And B, just to like forgive yourself through it. Because I feel like those are when I pinpoint the hardest moments for me individually, it's that guilt and that shame that I felt. And it's just a useless emotion, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's counterproductive. It doesn't do anything. It just makes you feel really bad. And I don't think you can. I think you could live a life without shame. Like you really could. You could still learn so much about yourself, and you could still feel bad about things and like, take accountability. But I feel like that's such an a misunderstanding, maybe not a misunderstanding, because I know some people really deeply believe in monogamy and those types of relationships, and I just really feel more akin to like a fluidity in relationships. But that departure when the relationship change is not a marker of you having failed and to some standard that was created before your time. That is
Hmm.
like it was created way before
Yes.
you. And
And the fact that it was created, it's not
yeah,
a natural way of being. It was put in place
yeah,
for legal reasons, for financial reasons, for
totally.
property reasons. Yeah.
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 So like that, I don't know. And also just like enjoy the moments. Just be grateful. Just be grateful you're sad. But like truly, like it's just be grateful that the other side is coming.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's just engaged and they're going to get married?
I'm so excited for you. No, truly though, like, 'cause
Yeah.
again, I get it
Yeah.
for different folks. Like that's I have friends, my parents are still married. I have friends that like I see their relationship with their spouses like, yeah, y'all are gonna make it. Like,
Yeah.
no, like that's great. That's awesome. You know, if you feel like really that you have found like this is what you want, then that's what you want. But take a second before and really listen to your gut. Because I had so many of those gut moments leading up to it that I was like, no, 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 this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm just gonna do it.
Sames. Also, even if you're totally in love and it's the best thing ever and you're going to make it, have your own money.
Have your own money. Have your own money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have your own money.
Damn. Yeah. There's anything we can learn from the Bravo verse and the Real Housewives, it is have your own
Have
money.
your own money. I could talk to you forever. Thank you for all of your time. There's so many questions. I'm like, we needed a whole episode on Matchee Matchee. We need a whole episode on dating. We need a whole episode on the loss of conversation in another generation because, right. Also, I don't know why I feel a need to say this, but I do. Generational friendships, what a gift.
What a gift.
Because I think, like, I learned so much from friends that I have in their 60s and their 70s. Like, I love a brunch or a dinner with my mom's friends.
Yeah.
I just love them. And also, I love knowing 20-year-olds and like having a dinner with them, being like, tell
Yeah.
me what, you know, and I also think a generational friendship, helps to like fill those gaps in
Yeah.
some of the stuff that the art of conversation or the art of whatever and
Totally.
stuff that I'm missing, right? Because of the time I was born in and how I grew up. But yeah, I think which is also really cool for Matchee Matchee. I'm sure it like is you get matched up with people of all different ages and the different walks of life and you're not lost in your own silo, right?
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
I love that because like two of my dearest friends is like this they call themselves vintage. So like they're in their like 60s, this wonderful gay couple like Jason and Michael. I love them dearly. But like it's so much fun. And like again, very like generational but then there's moments where I was like, oh yeah, okay, generation thing here. Which I love. And it's great. Yeah. And so it's important that we have those things.
Oh yeah, like my ideal dinner party is someone in different generations, like 1,000%.
Love
I
it.
always want someone older than me around.
Yes.
So I'm like, tell me, like,
Tell me everything.
I mean, you're wiser when you're younger in some ways, but you've lived some stuff, right? And yeah. Anyway, before I let you go, I had brunch with my mom and her best friends when I was home in February. And we were all laughing and mom was carrying on about something. And then one of them looked at me and she said, if you ever wonder what your mom was like in her 20s, she's the same person. This is how she always behaved. And I was like,
love it.
how sweet is that I get to sit across from these women who are so dynamic and so fun and so honest and direct that I get a piece of my mom in her 20s.
That's great.
But, you know? Anyway.
I've had a few, just to like also like echo on that, a few moments in the last, like especially the last like few years where I'm like, oh, I'm fully turning into Jackie Tenute. And I'll share a picture with you. There's one that Matt caught at that Christmas party I was telling you about. And it's my mom side by side and we're both talking to someone and we both had the same like expression. It's hilarious. I'm like, yeah, no, that's me and my mom right there.
Oh
Yeah.
my
What a
God.
gift.
Jackie
Yeah.
and Hillory and Lorraine and Nadine need a date.
I love it. That would be fun.
Be a good podcast.
It would be a good podcast. Good luck. I mean, I just actually know my mom, she does smudging online. So yeah, she was like interviewed by CBC and all this stuff. So she's actually pretty good online. So I'll give her that.
Doesn't she also bead? Like, don't you do that together?
No, she doesn't bead.
Oh.
She's more of a seamstress sewer. So she'll do like
Okay.
ribbon skirts and I'll do the beading. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
fun.
gosh. I'll put a link to your beading too in the podcast notes.
And
And
the
Matchee
Matchee
Matchee,
Matchee,
of course.
please.
Yeah.
Peace.
1,000%.
Can I do an interview with you with Matchee Matchee on how do you meet
Yeah.
people in Ottawa? I would love
Yeah.
that. Do you think
Cool.
would David be part of it?
For sure. Fun. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I love that.
All right.
Thank you.
Back to my lobbying now.
All right. Love you. Love you. Love
Okay,
you.
love
Have
you
a
too.
beautiful
Thanks so
day.
much.